So, if you would give me my first slide there, Mike. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. How y'all feeling about that line? That very first line of the song. How many of you have had any rain in your life over the last, 4 years or so? Right? The rain doesn't go. The rain isn't gone. It's just somewhere else. The energy that the rain is just, it's in the atmosphere. But when you see clearly, when you actually know who you are, when you're very clear about what this stuff is, you do see clearly. And it is gone from your experience of it, because it's all just energy. Next slide, Mike. So, I want you to read this from Deepak Chopra. He says, people need to know that they have all the tools within themselves. Self-awareness, which means awareness of their body, awareness of their mental space, awareness of their relationships, not only with each other, but with life and the ecosystem. Deepak Chopra. So the clarity I want to talk about, our theme this month, the clarity I want to talk about is you knowing you. I want to talk about that last thing in our vision statement, remembering who you are. No, not the last one, sorry. The real last one, this one. I'll talk about that to you later. That's right. I want to take this month to be even that much more in tune with who I really am, which means I have to be willing to look at all of my stuff. Y'all willing to do that this month, in the month of clarity? I wish you were up here. People are like, no. That ain't happening. But Deepak Chopra is so correct. We need to know what's inside of us. We need to know the tools that are inside of us. We need to know what it is we need to use those tools on. How many of you have ever bought something from IKEA that you had to make? Right? And have you ever gotten to the point, so I just made the bed for Will and Emily. They went out shopping, and we started it together, but then you kind of left me. And I was making the bed. And if anyone knows me, I'm not particularly gifted with that type of work, but I was determined. And I was like, and here's the best part. IKEA gives you all the tools you need to put it all together. You need nothing else. But the tools they give you are like torture tools. I mean, to put the bolts in, you've got this little thing and you're like, one little turn, two little turns. Thank God I found your whatever they're called, screwdrivers, the electric screwdriver. I was able to go much quicker. But here's the thing. It's all there. All the tools are there. And I have to say, when I finished building it, I felt like Thomas Edison. I did. I was like, awesome. I made a bed. I made a bed. And it never broke. You didn't fall apart and it never fell out. It's still structurally sound, yes. Because I had all the tools and some extras. But I had all the tools. But I went into it believing I had all the tools. And I think many of us in our lives, we don't know or believe that we really do have the tools. Next slide. So, know thyself. And certainty brings insanity. There's one for you, Thor. These are Greek maxims at the entrance to the temple of Apollo. And believe it or not, Socrates did not write these. Socrates practiced these. He brought them more prominently into play for the Greeks and the Romans, right? So, but just start with know thyself. How many of you have lived with this your whole life, hearing that? We all know that quote, right? Did some of you never hear that quote before? No. You've all heard it, right? Okay, good. You just don't feel like raising your hand. Okay. But the second one is the more important one. Clarity brings insanity. Oh, insanity. Certainty. Clarity does not bring insanity. Well, it can if you have a lot of crap to look at. Yes. Certainty brings insanity. So every time you think you know and something happens different, has that ever happened to you? Yeah. You're sure, and I'm in the middle of expectancy week. Actually, I'm at the end of expectancy week in boot camp. So, we're all walking around going, what do I expect today? But then can I be open and awake and aware and surrender to what may not be what I expected, and yet it's my greatest expectation? So this idea of certainty brings insanity, I'm not saying everyone here should be so clear that they understand everything, know everything, and they're adept to handle everything that comes along. They'll know exactly what to do. Or am I saying that? I am a little bit saying that. But it's not about this out here. Clarity is an inside job. Clarity is something you already have, but you kind of blocked it. And you block it now and then. And you block it in many ways and for many reasons. You block it because you were taught this. And so if it's saying that now, I'm not sure I'm going to agree with that. I can't, now I'm uncertain. I don't have clarity around this. So give me the next one. So, handsome young man. This is a slide I used in ministerial class in the first week. I also used it as the first slide in my power talk. I didn't give a power talk. My keynote, thank you. My keynote speech, which, by the way, on Tuesday evening, I gave a keynote at Unity. And I asked on Monday night, because I apparently procrastinated by not asking anybody how long my talk was. And I said to the president, I said, how long do you want me to speak tomorrow night? And the vice president was standing there and went, it's your night. I was like, I know. So 20 minutes, a half hour talking? They were like, no, it's your night, the whole night. I was like, oh. And Jonathan was with me, and he said, no, you can talk like an hour and a half maybe. And I was like, really? And Jonathan went, as if you couldn't talk for an hour and a half. And I was like, okay, good, glad I asked. Could you imagine if I got up, did 20 minutes, and walked off, and they were like, where's the rest of the conference? So I decided, since I knew I had to elongate my talk, to start with what I said, you know what? I'm going to do what I made the ministers do. Get up there and answer the question, what do you need to know about me? Now, a lot of my ministerial students, many of them are here today, had, sarcastic answers, which were correct, like, nothing. There's my whole answer. What do you need to know about me? Nothing. You don't need to know anything about me. Didn't work. I said, keep talking. But the point is, what do you need to know about you? What do you need to know about yourself? Because if I'm going to tell you what you need to know about me, I better know me to tell you that. I did make a joke, and right within 2 minutes of my keynote, I said that I would start in West Side Story on Broadway, just get it out of the way, be able to move on, and talk about Broadway and everything. Jonathan did raise his arm and look at the time to make sure who won the pool that day. So what do you need to know about yourself? If we're going to have a month of clarity, I think the focus needs to be you, Tiffany. I agree. It needs to be you saying, I will finish out this month knowing so much more about myself. And that doesn't mean the things you've done or accomplished. It means why you've done them, how it happened. What participation did you have in it, which is 100%? How does that sound? How does that feel? The idea of really spending time getting in there and finding out, why am I a screenwriter? Why do I react the way I do on certain things around my career or around my relationships? Know thyself, but really deeply know thyself. Next slide, Michael. So the title of the conference was Convergence. And I hadn't really given it much thought until I really went to look at it. What did the word convergence mean? So let me tell you what the word means. Go ahead, Mike. As a verb, it means to tend to move from one point to another. And in this month of clarity, everything in your life converges into one truth. So if you were to sit here, and I don't know how many of you have gone back and tried to figure out all the things you've done at a certain age and try to do the history of your life. When you're an actor, you try to do the history of your life based on the shows you've been in. Right, Susan? And so I went back and I was like, well, let's see. My first thing in New York was Brigadoon, and I got so stumped. I was like, did that happen before this, after this? Because I'm a man of a certain age, and it's like, there's been a lot. And I'm like, did I do this before that, after that? But all of it converges into one place. And for me, the idea of convergence in this month of clarity is this. The next one. Coming together, joining together, and coming together as one, as we're all doing right here, right now. So everything in your life, every aspect of your life, all of those pinpoints that are all over the universe, because there really is no forward, backward, sideward. There's no future, past. There's just one thing going on at all times. So all of the things of your life converge into this one infinite, dynamic, divine being that you are. Your job is to stay there so that you bring that to each point. Very often what we do is we move from here over to something that's happening in our lives, and we leave our clarity behind. We leave who we are behind, and we start becoming whatever this instance is. If I have an issue in my life, I become that issue. Anybody relate to that? It just becomes crazy for you. And all of a sudden you're this. All of a sudden I have financial problems. And that's your whole life. As opposed to, no, I am that which is the center of all that converges to and as me. And every answer to it is right here. Here. Not out here where the problem is. Not out here where the issue is. And that's a clarity that if you were to live by, really get it, really embody that clarity, your life would transform tremendously. Because you would no longer be able to go out there and live in drama land. How many people have some drama in their life? Apparently, right? There's really no need for the drama. There just isn't. You know, we did No Complaining Week last week, so it was all about victims and drama and all that stuff that we foist upon ourselves. And yet, clarity says, no, this is who I am. Next slide, Michael. So, this is all about oneness. And I asked a question at the conference, why are we one? Because, you know, we all say that we have all this lingo down, don't we? We're one, we're whole, which is why I hate that expression now. I am perfect, whole, and complete. I might as well just take a rosary bead and go, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. Perfect, whole, and complete. Perfect, whole, and complete. Our Father who art in heaven. Those words are just words. So the real question is, why are we one? And what makes us understand this thing called oneness? Yes, I can go to the ocean and sit there and watch the whales jump and feel oneness, but then I get back in my car and drive home to my finances, or drive back home to my relationship that's in struggling. Whatever's going on. So why are we one? And the answer to that is the quantum field, understanding who you are. Now, on Tuesday night, when I gave that keynote, I hadn't thought a lot about it other than to say it was time for me to come out of the closet again, to really come out of the closet as a quantum activist, and to be able to really stand in I am God, regardless of confusion or fear or doubt from anyone else, but to find a way to say it with clarity, and to find a way to embody it with clarity. And so I knew I had a room of people that were from all walks of life. You know, there were some Buddhists there were certainly some Christians there were Unity people, some religious science people, but it was a mix. And so I did it exactly the way I'm doing it with you right now, talking about the quantum field. That there is this quantum field of energy and light and vibration and love. That's all there is. That's all there is. And as a Catholic, I was taught God is all there is. Anybody else was taught that? How many people were Catholics going with the Baltimore Catechism? I would say most religions would agree God is all there is. But then we have to go to what is God? So if God is all there is, and if God is the quantum field, and the quantum field is energy that is creative and expansive, it's constantly moving and evolving, then that's what I am. So when I ask, who am I? That's what I am. I am the quantum field operating as me in the most profound, amazing ways. And I have volition and choice. And I can get in the middle of it and totally throw it all out of whack. Because I have the ability to do that. Anybody here ever throw their life out of whack? With decisions they've made or choices they've made? Most people, when life gets pushed out of whack, start to blame whatever did it. But when we get clear, when we have clarity that it's all me, all the time. It's my use of this amazing field of quantum energy. Next slide. This is the title of my talk, Born to Know. It's impossible for me to look into that baby's eyes without smiling, without saying to myself, he knows something that I may have forgotten. Right? And here's the thing. You were born knowing. That's who you were born as. Because this quantum field is all intelligent, it's all knowing, it always, always moves in the exact right direction. It knows exactly what it's doing, and it's always doing from good, for good, as good. That's the field. That's who we are innately. That baby knows that. That baby was born to know that. And then life happens. And all of us create all of these core beliefs and these things that happen in our lives. I didn't get that. She didn't fall in love with me. He didn't fall in love with me. This marriage didn't work. Blah, blah, blah. And you can go down the list of all the things that have happened to you. And as soon as you understand that they happen as you, everything changes. Nothing happens to me. And nothing even happens through me. It happens as me. I am this dynamic field of energy. So today, as I ask you to take this challenge this month, getting to know who you are more and more and more, I'd like you to start there, born to know. I'd like you to go back and remember, you already know it all. You already knew it all. Now it's time to get back to that innocence, to that absolute place of knowing that doesn't require you to study to know. Next slide. So there's this thing called the Innate Knowledge Thesis. It's based on Descartes. And it says this. Go ahead. The Innate Knowledge Thesis asserts the existence of knowledge whose source is our own nature. We are born with this knowledge. It doesn't depend for its justification on our accessing it via particular experiences. The Innate Knowledge Thesis says to you, your nature is knowing. Your nature is clarity. Your nature is success. Your nature is love. And yet we have gotten to a point where we think the only way we get any of those things is to figure it out with critical thinking. I'll go to this class. This is by this book, 7 Steps to Love, 8 Steps to Prosperity, 12 Steps to Success, 18 Steps. It just gets worse as you go. And we live in that culture. And I've written a book called The 5 Steps. It's the 5 questions. But I have to be willing at some point, and somebody said this to me this week, to just put it all down and just say, I know. I know. It makes me cry. I know. And not I know, but I know. And mean it. Really mean it. Even in the face of not knowing. Yeah, right? Even in the face of I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I know. And mine is it will unfold perfectly. And perfectly may look a little different than my cognitive mind that may design it in a certain way, that it has to look like that. Anybody have that going on? Here's how it's going to happen. Here's what they're all going to do to make it happen. And that's the only way it's going to happen. And that is constricting, and you're telling the universe, this is how it has to happen. If the universe is like, yeah, but we're moving along beautifully, and we were actually thinking of going to a bigger picture of you, but all right, let's just back up and be stagnant with you. I mean, that's the Innate Knowledge Thesis says, you already are everything you thought you could ever be. Now get out of your own way and be it. Next. So I want you this month to take the challenge. When I was flying back from Arizona yesterday, I was like, I need a challenge this month. I need to really challenge myself this month, even more than I challenge myself, which is really challenging. And I know some of you, a lot of you, there are 76 people in Mental Muscle, so I know a lot of you are in Mental Muscle, and that is challenging, and it's a good challenge. but add another layer to the challenge, which is to really do the work to find out who you are, why you are, where you are, and if you are who you want to be. With everything. You know my motto, question everything. So our job this month is to take the challenge, to do the work, to really get clear. Really get clear. Where am I? I love Joe Giamaldo. He moved from here to Palm Desert. And that's Palm Springs, right? He moved to Palm Springs. And then I get a little text, but it was a year later. Not working, moving back. That's pretty great. I know you still have a place there. You're kind of like me now. You go back and forth. But that to me is perfection. If something's not working, then unwork it. Be done. Move on. If there's something in your life that doesn't work, you are the innate field of pure quantum energy. You can be, do, have anything. But not if you decide to just stick with what's sort of not working or sort of is working. That's the challenge. Find out. And you know what? If you are one of those people that's like, nah, I'm okay, ask the question, why am I okay? Why am I okay with this? Why am I okay with this type of existence? Why am I okay when I don't have what I actually wanted since I was a child? Those answers are also paramount to the unblocking of whatever it is that's stopping you from really reaching where you want to reach. Next slide. So, I want you to look into that baby's eyes again and see yourself. Look at the way he's just like, oh, so excited about life. When's the last time you were so excited about something? I mean, really, really, I know about our bazaar, I'm sure you all feel that way. But when's the last time you were like, I cannot wait to go do that. I just can't wait to see what life's going to bring even. Perhaps not something specific. I can't wait to see what I'm going to do next. Somebody said to me, as I was walking into to give the session on Tuesday night, someone stopped me and went, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I said, I feel the same way. And she looked at me like, I said, no, really, I don't know what I'm going to say. I have some notes. But I'm excited. I am always excited. I didn't write today's talk at all. I just put my slides together of what I knew I wanted to talk about and what the point of this is. I am naturally clear. You are naturally, the nature of you, Emily Edwards, is clarity. It's knowing who you are and knowing what you do want and what you don't want. And what you don't want can go away, highest and furthest. And what you do want, John, you get to have. That's who we are. We are nothing less than that. That's really who we are. Does that not excite you? How many people does that excite to really know that? That's the excitement that this month has to offer. For you to really dig in there and go, and yeah, you got to pull up the muck. You got to pull up the stuff. You got to pull it up and look at it, but not to beat yourself up. You pull it up to go, what are you doing here? To pull it up and just say, what is this? Why is it here? And what is the belief in me that keeps bringing it up again and again and again and again? Be done with it. That's what we can do this month. We have a whole month. It's only the 2nd of October. A whole month of clarity. So repeat after me. I know who I am.
I know who I am.
I am clear.
I am clear.
Take a deep breath. I challenge you to live that this month. Namaste. Oh, I don't even do it. Thank you. Thank you.